Jean Milich here. I'm going to share a story with you, and the moral of the story is the value of being authentic. This was something that occurred about 2 weeks ago. I was at home with my husband. It was early evening. It was still very light out. The sun hadn't set yet. And someone had come to our door, and normally I wouldn't have gone to the door, would have watched to see if it was somebody I knew. But my husband thought it was our neighbor from across the street, so I thought, oh, okay, I'll go and see. Well, by the time I walked out to the driveway and I met the person, I realized it wasn't our neighbor from across the street. It was a young man, and he was doing some kind of a fundraising. And at first it started out where he was establishing a connection with me, that his mother lived in the neighborhood. Her name was Kathy, and there is someone who lives in the neighborhood down the street who's named Kathy. And I've known her for many years, but I don't remember her last name. But then he started telling me stories around, that were kind of like tucked in around the sale that he was trying to make. And I realized that what he was trying to do, this was especially later, was that he was trying to distract me from like the suspicion that would arise from the kind of sale he was trying to make. And the sale was magazine subscriptions for returning vets, and in like hospitals in places across the U.S. and have no relevance, no connection to my life. And I began to go, how can I trust that? Well, the thing was that he kept the process focused on either complimenting me or on himself, and to evoke sympathies, like I said earlier, and things that would really get me to not be thinking about what he was trying to sell me. Well, I eventually there were too many red flags that went up and just ended the conversation with him. But what I did do on reflection is, well, first of all, I came in the house and I Googled, it was, soccer fundraising scams. And oh my gosh, he was saying so many things like what people reported, including, yeah, my mom's the woman who walks the golden retriever down the street. So anybody ever says that to you, I suggest looking that stuff up so you know ahead of time. But what I did also think about was the things I observed about marketing from him. He was establishing connection. He was telling me stories. And all of his stories, I just saw a squirrel going across the fence there, all of his stories were meant to really distract me from the sale. And in part was, I think, to build relationship, but it wasn't there. What was happening is the more he talked, the more I started to feel like something didn't feel right. And I think that's really legitimate. My goal in sharing this with you is not to say that anybody listening to this would do what this person did. That's the extreme. But what it did show me is that, for one, that was when you have to really be your authentic self, because people are going to pick up on something doesn't seem right. There's a discrepancy here. So even if you're not trying to be dishonest, people will pick up something is out of place here. So it's better to be honest, it's better to be upfront, and therefore it's better to develop your skills so that you know what you're talking about, honestly know what you're talking about. And when you don't, you can say, hey, I don't know, but I'll find out about that for you, or something to that effect. So it was a very interesting lesson, a lesson about respecting people I talk to who are customers, possible recruits, and so forth. And I wanted to share that with you, for that may be of help in your work. And so that, when you have a good communication, I know Tim Sales talks about this, sales is really communication. And when you have a good communication with people, you leave them with a good feeling, and you leave with a good feeling. Whether you actually make a sale or not is second to having a successful communication with people. So have a great day. Remember to be authentically you, and people will appreciate who you are, and your life will be successful based upon doing it that way instead of like the scammer was here in the street. Okay, thanks very much now. Bye.